If you're a father in his 30s or 40s and you know that you're undisciplined, you know that you need to give up drinking or smoking, or you know that you're just not giving it your all right now and you could be more, who suffers if you do not become all you could be? I might get divorced. I might pass my drinking problem on to my children. I might do worse at work and get fired from my job. If I can get disciplined and give up this drinking problem, go sober, as many guys have in my program. Just this morning we had a guy who said he joined in April and he hasn't smoked or drank since. It's one of many. That's you. What can improve your life? Everything. Just because you decided to get disciplined and go sober. So we just got back from camping, and me and Lauren got back from camping and had an amazing time. We just had our brotherhood call this morning, just had some calls with guys to join our Men of Fire program. What I wanted to do is talk about some lessons that we talked about in our Men of Fire brotherhood call. We have 3 calls a week, and this morning we talked about some super important lessons. We went around the group and we said, what is one thing that you are here to fix? What's one thing that's holding you down? What's one thing you need to do to rise? Like one thing you need to drop from your life, one thing you need to really improve upon. Like, why are you here? Okay, so what is stopping you from getting there? Let's identify it. Let's bust through that. And then what do we have to do to rise? Like, what do we really have to do to become the absolute best person we need to do and fix this thing? So we started talking about it. We went around every single guy. We had 20 guys on the call, went around all the guys and dug into these things that really held us back. First, I took them through some lessons from my camping trip. So at the beginning of the summer, even when my kids were still in school, I said to them, what are some things you want to do this summer? I said, make a list of what you want to do this summer, and I'm going to make sure we get to them. You know, Lauren had go camping with Dad. She had go on the rope swing. She had, play house. Nathan had, I want to go to Bermuda. I want to go to London. Nathan's list would have cost me $500,000. So we said, all right, let's make it a realistic list of things we can get to. So then he was like, all right, go on vacation. I want to play basketball with Dad. He also wanted to go camping with me. And you turn around, and we've got 3 weeks left of summer. Sarah goes back to school in 2 or 3 weeks. The kids go back to school in like 4 weeks. It's like, man, where did this summer go? Nathan's 10, Lauren's 8. And before you know it, this summer of this year of their life will forever be gone. Forever. I'll never have this summer with Nathan when he's 10 and Lauren's 8. It will forever be gone. All these moments will forever be gone. So I need to be present right now. I need to make memories with them, and I need to be intentional about my role. So I said, okay, what do you want to do this summer? Lauren said, go camping. I said, all right, we got 3 or 4 weeks left. We haven't gone camping yet. And the day before, I went on the PA Parks reservation, found a state park, booked a cabin, and had it all booked. Then I went to jiu-jitsu, screwed up my knee, and I could have used that as an excuse as to not go. But I don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't know what's going to happen next month. I could say, well, I'm too injured to go, and then weeks pass. And then all of a sudden they're back in school, and then fall passes, and it's wintertime, and say, sorry, Lauren, it just didn't work out. I don't want to do that. So we scheduled it. We went. I hobbled around. It felt good enough for me to go there. And then we just ended up having an amazing time. But we had some resistance along the way. We had some obstacles we had to face. We went to this state park that has a beautiful lake, and there's a beach. And we've been going there for years where we swim, we play in the beach. You kind of pretend you're at the ocean, but you're at a lake. So we get there. We're having a great time in the campground. Then we put on our bathing suits. We go to the beach. We pull up, and there's a sign that says beach closed for toxic algae. I say, okay. Me and Lauren just sitting there in our swimsuits and our beach towels ready to go. So we're not going to go swimming in there. So I pulled up my phone, pulled up Google. I said, what's around here? There's Idlewild amusement park is really close. So I said, all right, can we get to Idlewild? If we leave now, we can get back, we can get changed, we can get to Idlewild, we can have 4 hours there and still save the day. So went online, ordered the tickets, changed, drove 25 minutes to Idlewild, had an amazing time at the water park, and had a great time there with Lauren. We got to revisit and do all these rides she did when she was a kid. I was able to get my steps in, even with my bum knee, and went in the wave pool, went in the lazy river, and just came back and had an amazing time. And then instead of making our hot dogs around a campfire, we saw Eaton Park, which is a local restaurant here in the Pittsburgh area. You know, like a family-style, family-priced restaurant. And it's Lauren's favorite restaurant ever. We have, on her birthdays or celebrations, we've given Lauren the opportunity to go to any restaurant you want. You know, kind of like hoping she's going to pick one that is a high-quality food, that's a little nicer, that me and Sarah and the adults can enjoy, but she always wants to go to Eaton Park. And what does she get when she gets there? She gets Kraft macaroni and cheese and broccoli. That's what Lauren gets. And then a Eaton Park cookie on the way out. You know, I could make that at home for 50 cents, but that's what she wants to go to Eaton Park to do. So I said, okay, look, we went to Idlewild. We had a great time. We're on our way home. We saw Eaton Park. Now you get to go to your favorite restaurant. Look, it's an amazing night. So we did that. We came home. I brought my tripod, so I stuck my camera up around the fire, had a Bluetooth speaker, and we watched the movie Descendants, which is like a nice, fun musical Disney movie. Had a little movie theater outside around a campfire. Went to sleep. Next morning, bacon is Lauren's favorite food of all time. She loves bacon. So she said, Dad, I need bacon. Like, you know, she wanted bacon that morning. So I was like, all right, Lauren, I'll make you bacon. And then she also said, you know what we didn't do last night? I said, what? She said, we didn't make s'mores. You know, camping, you got to make s'mores. We brought some s'more stuff. I said, yeah, we didn't make s'mores, but we did make popcorn. I brought some popcorn and some cast iron skillets, so we made popcorn on the cast iron skillets. Turned out pretty good, but didn't have time for the s'mores. And then in the morning, she was like, we didn't have s'mores, and we need to have bacon. I said, okay, well, let's go out and do that. Boom, it starts thunderstorming, starts pouring rain, and it's just downpouring. Fire, you know, the fire goes out. It's all wet. Can't do anything outside. Luckily, we booked a cabin, not in a tent. I felt bad for the tent people, but we were there in a cabin and sitting on the porch. She's like, all right, what can we do? We've got 4 hours or so left. I want this to be a memorable stay with me and Lauren, so what can we do? Luckily, on the way there, I bought a bag of Instant Light charcoal, which is going to be one of my staples camping. Normally, we find sticks and leaves and paper, and we make a fire that way. But this charcoal really saved the day, and the cast iron skillets. So I grabbed the 2 cast iron skillets, put them on top of some logs on the porch of the cabin. Don't worry, it was safe. It was very wet around. And then poured like a third of the bag of the charcoal in there, lit it, made the charcoals all hot, and we were able to roast marshmallows over the charcoals on the porch in the cast iron skillets. So we had s'mores, and then I put the one pan over the second pan, made bacon. Didn't get hot enough, so we weren't able to eat the bacon, so I had to throw that out. But we then took our beach chairs, put it on the porch, put a comfy blanket over it. I put my tripod up with the phone again, Bluetooth speaker, and then we had like a movie night on the porch while it was downpouring rain, and we were making s'mores. And then Lauren said this is her favorite thing we did the entire trip. So that moment there in the pouring rain, just roasting s'mores, watching a movie, was Lauren's favorite part of the whole trip. Then, after that movie ended, we had about 30 minutes left. We went inside. I said, you know what we didn't do, Lauren? She goes, well, I said, we didn't have a dance party. She's like, that's right. So in our whole family, one of our traditions is having dance parties. And my son Nathan is a dancing fiend. Ever since he was a baby, he loves dancing. So we went inside the cabin, pulled up this sound button app that has a bunch of different popular tunes on it, put the Bluetooth speaker on, and me and her for like 30 minutes just danced in the cabin. Then we went in the car, drove to a restaurant for lunch, and came home. And when we were home, as we were unpacking the car and cleaning up, she said that this was her favorite time camping with me ever. So I was really happy to hear that, because it could have been the worst time ever, right? Like, it rained. We couldn't do a lot of the things that you can do camping. It rained out. Can't do a fire. couldn't swim. Like, the whole reason we chose this place was to swim at the beach. Couldn't do that. We could have just showed up and been like, it's not going to work out. Weather's bad. Beach is closed. Let's just go home. Because this place is only 50 minutes from my house. Or we could have just sat inside, watched the phone, and been miserable. We could have also done that. But no, we said, nope, we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to pivot and rise. We're going to look for the best opportunity here and make it fun. And I was talking to Lauren, and she said, she's so funny, she was talking about the person she's going to marry when she's older. And she brought this up all on her own, because there was a guy in a cabin next to us who, as we were watching Descendants, which is like a Disney musical kids thing, it's kind of like High School Musical, we were watching that on our porch with the Bluetooth speaker in the middle of the day, and he was just glaring at us, looking grumpy and upset, and Lauren kept on cackling and laughing as she was looking at this guy. And she said, Dad, when I'm older, if the guy I marry doesn't like camping, she said, I'm going to tell him, you can only be here for one night, I want to be here for 4 nights. And she was just saying how camping's her favorite thing, and her guy better be able to handle camping. I was like, oh, you're amazing. She's a very strong, confident, and independent person. But she was she's out there, she's looking for a guy that loves camping. But she told me, she said, yeah, this is my favorite thing, this is my favorite time camping, and we were able to find the gold in that mess. And why I bring this up, and I brought this up in my call, like, why tell this story? Well, because every day we're faced with these situations where we can make the best of it and bring up the energy and vibration of our family, or we can bring them down. Like, you're planning on something simple as going to the store. Something doesn't go your way. Does the family turn on each other? Do they start attacking each other? Or do you just pivot, stay warm, stay loving, and stay strong, and everyone's okay? Or you're on a vacation, and you say, okay, we're going to go to this restaurant. You drive to the restaurant, and it's closed. Does your family start shouting at each other, who picked this restaurant? Who would tell it? Or do you just say, no big deal, you laugh and you pick another one? Like, how you handle these small situations have a big impact on the memories and the tone and the feeling of your house. Does your family build each other up and supportive, or do they constantly tear each other down? It's a constant judgment and attacking each other. And those things can happen in these chaotic times a lot. Such as, we're planning on doing one thing, and guess what? Nature, the universe, had different plans. What do? And thank goodness for the rain. Thank goodness the beach closed, because we wouldn't have had the best time ever. So that was how I started off my call this morning, talking about that, and a father's ability to control the tone of his family by building it up or tearing it down based on how he perceives the situation and the work you're willing to put in. Like, it would have been easier just to go to sleep, take a nap, and say, well, this one's a wash, right? But no, you want your family to have unbelievable memories. Also, this is July, it's end of the month. As a business owner, it's go time, right? It's like, I need to get these sales in. I could have easily stayed home, taken calls, reached out to people, done all those kind of things to hit a goal. But 10 years from now, when Lauren's 18, what's going to be, what am I going to value? What am I really going to take with me? Well, I would have been happy that I stayed home and made one more sale, or that I have this memory with Lauren. Like, we created memories that we're going to have forever. Lauren already is talking about it constantly, just what we did yesterday. 10 years from now, we're going to be able to look back on this weekend and talk about that time that it rained our whole camping trip, and we had a movie night on the porch. That the value of that memory far exceeds what I could have done in my business or any other project or thing I could have done at home. She will never again be 8 years old, sitting by the campfire with me. I remember sitting at night by the campfire with her, our 2 chairs next to each other, and she just got up from hers and said, Daddy, can I come sit in your lap? I said, sure. So she just her and me by the campfire at night, sitting by the fire, watching a movie. How many more years is that going to happen? She's 8 now. When she's 18 years old, that's not going to be happening, right? So how many more years will I ever have a daughter, when I'm sitting by a campfire, say, "Dad, can I come sit in your lap and cuddle you while we watch a movie?" If I stayed home from this trip, wouldn't have had that moment. But also, that is why I have to be present right now, because these moments will be gone forever. They will never happen again. My son's 10. When he's 16, he's probably going to be driving all over the place with his friends. That's 6 more years. Today really, really matters. And a lot of times when we have these chaotic situations, we can create stress and problems and monsters that aren't really there. There's another thing we talked about on our call this morning, was creating stressful situations totally on our own. I talked to a guy yesterday about his marriage and a problem he's having with his wife. And he was telling me a story about how she did something that made him upset. So he got upset at her, which made her upset at him. She didn't think the thing she was doing was going to make him upset. He chose to get upset at her. It all came down to him wanting to control her in the situation. So I said, you could have avoided the entire thing, but you latched on to this external thing and decided to get mad about it. That's like me looking out my window, seeing a car driving by that has like a Donald Trump or a Biden sticker on it, and just getting mad at it. I'm saying, the guy who drives that car must be blank. And then for the rest of my day, just being mad and talking about how those kind of people blank or I could have at the same time looked out, seen the car, not thought a second thing, and continued on my business, but I decided to latch on to something completely separate from myself, get mad about it, and add stress to my life. A lot of times we do that. It's completely self-created stress that does not need to be there. This guy did it with his wife. She was fine living her life. He decided that he wanted her to behave in a certain way, so he said, because you're not behaving in the way that I want you to, I'm going to get upset at you. Therefore, I'm going to create this problem. So then if you dig deeper into these problems, this happens with our kids as well. It happens with any relationship we have. It comes down to, do I only love and accept this person if they act a certain way? Or can I accept them for who they are? Does my wife have to fix herself for me to love her? Is that what it is? Or if you're the wife, same thing. Does my husband have to fix himself, become a better man for me to love him? So do you accept the person as they are? Are they allowed to be free and become who they are? Or do they have to change for you to love them? If that's the case, then we're not really loving them for who they are. You're loving them for what they could be. So it's not accepting who they are. It's not for better or worse. It's only for better. So, if you become better, then I will love you. Not for better or worse, or for better or for who you are. I will love you. So sometimes we only accept people if they're willing to change for us, and if they're able to act in a certain way that we approve of. It could be our kids, it could be our wife, it could be anyone. And I'd dig in with this guy and ask him that. I said, so the way she is right now, can you just accept and love her right now? Can you accept and love who she is right now, or does she have to be different? You have to come to terms with yourself with that. Because if forever you're only going to say to yourself, I hope my wife does this. I hope my wife appreciates me. I hope she gives me a pat on the back. I hope blank. I hope she shows me more affection. If she does that, I will be happy. That means your entire happiness and self-identity and confidence hinges on the behavior of your wife that you can't control. So you, once again, are trying to control something that you can't, and your entire identity, self-confidence, and life depends on something you can't control. Not a good way to live. You have to be totally self-accepting, love yourself, respect yourself, despite anyone else, including your wife, including your spouse, including your kids. If your entire identity hinges upon the behavior and life of somebody else, then who are you without them? Nothing. That's worse for them. Horrible for you, worse for them. If your entire identity hinges on the approval of your spouse and getting energy from her, and she gets really sick or needs you, can you give that to her if you are constantly in a needing state from her? So you yourself have to build yourself into someone who can emanate energy, love, give to other people so that you don't constantly need to take, and take. Happens with wives a lot because I obviously deal with men a lot, talk to fathers, talk to husbands all the time. And what I hear a lot is, I get no appreciation, get no respect, like Rodney Dangerfield says. I need pats on the back. I need more affection. Even guys, too, say I need more love. A lot of times women are the ones who say they need more love. And sometimes when guys don't get the respect they want, they respond by giving no love to their wife, and then their wife then responds by giving less respect, and they spiral out of control. Happens all the time. So what we talk in my program, Men of Fire, is about becoming a lighthouse. We've had guys who've gotten lighthouse tattoos on their arm. I'm considering one, and where I'm going to place that tattoo. Somewhere appropriate. But the lighthouse can emanate light and warmth and withstand the storms no matter what. It doesn't need anything. It just stands there. Which means that if you're the boat, if you're the family member who needs the lighthouse, you can always come to it despite everything. That's what we strive to be. The other thing we talked about was reflect on what you want to give up or fix in your own life. So we went around, we said, what do you want to give up or fix? What is stopping you? Who suffers if you fail? And who benefits if you succeed? Okay, so I'll go through that again. You guys, and if you want to do this in your own life, you can. These are one of the daily workshops and reflections we do in my program. We have long-term goals, short-term goals. You know, guys want to get ripped, disciplined, save their marriage, fix their business, get disciplined. And all these things hinge on becoming a better person. I truly believe, and that's a philosophy of our program, is your results in life will come from who you are as a person. If you build yourself, if you become the best man possible, everything will change for you. You cannot want to be a better father and not improve yourself. You cannot want your business to improve and you don't improve yourself. So part of that process is digging in and saying, what do I need to change about me to get different changes in life? So what do I need to fix in my life so I can fix my results? That's digging in. That's dropping the ego. So he said, what do you need to give up or fix? Like, what is the reason you joined us? For some guys, it was my marriage. Some guys, it was discipline. I want to be the best version of myself. I need to get in shape. I need to lose weight, whatever it is for you. What is stopping you? Meaning, what is the thing that you're telling yourself is stopping you that's really not stopping you? You know, I'll always have business guys who say, I want to get in shape, but I have all these client dinners and meals, and if I don't drink 2 whiskeys and have a double cheeseburger, I'm not going to close the sale, which is complete bullshit. Not true at all. I have guys crushing it, shredded, incredibly disciplined, who bring scales to restaurants who are crushing it in business, and actually the opposite happens. You're looked up to and respected if you're disciplined. But in that guy's mind, there are things stopping him, or these client dinners. Another person I talked to said, I don't get good sleep. So because I don't get good sleep, he's in his mid-40s, 50, 60 pounds overweight, has been that way for 20 years. And he says, okay, because I don't get good sleep, I'm just tired through the day and I can't work out. I said, okay, so if I gave you a pill that magically fixed your sleep for tomorrow, you're saying that, boom, on your own, you could just get shredded and ripped and disciplined and you'd be fine. Or is there something more? There's something more. It's usually a story we're telling ourselves about ourselves, why we're stuck. Or the guy that says, I'd have an 8-pack if if the gym was open till 7 instead of 6, but the gym closes at 6, so if it was open for 1 more hour, I could go to the gym. And then he goes home and he has 6 beers, and he sleeps until 9, and he eats 10,000 extra calories each week, but only if that gym was open till 7. It's a lot of times we tell ourselves these things that aren't really true, and then we buy the bullshit, we buy the excuses, we buy the stories. So what do you need to give up or fix? What is stopping you? Who suffers if you fail? So if you fail, who is going to suffer? Not fun to think about. I've had calls with guys, and we dig into these things on our calls to join our program. You have to have a good why. Joining my program isn't just to look good. There's plenty of other programs, and feel free to join those, where the entire focus and emphasis is on having an 8-pack and being shredded. That's what will happen with me, but that's not my focus. Our focus is on being the best man you can be. So we dig in, right? It's like, what's your why? What do you have to fix? We go through these things. And some guys just cannot do that. They refuse to dig in and say where they need to fix. They get really, really uncomfortable when you talk about their flaws or what's holding them back. I'll talk to the guy who's 100 pounds overweight, who drinks every night and whose marriage is crumbling, and he'll tell me that he's crushing it on every front of life. And he'll believe it. But his wife messaged me and said, please talk to my husband. We're going to get a divorce next week. That happens more than you would think. I have wives message me all the time and apply for their husbands to join our program all the time. I encourage you, if you do that, to have that talk with your husband first, though. But you have to be able to identify within yourself where you need to fix. So reflect on what you want to give up or fix. What is stopping you? Who suffers if you fail? So if you're a father in his 30s or 40s and you know that you're undisciplined, you know that you need to give up drinking or smoking, or you know that you're just not giving it your all right now and you could be more, who suffers if you do not become all you could be? Not fun to think about. But if you can sit in that pain and you don't run from it, massive level up for you. If you don't run from the pain of that consequence and that thought, massive level up for you. So, okay, if I don't fix my discipline and quit drinking, who suffers? Let's say I have a drinking problem. Well, I might get divorced. That's pretty big, right? I might pass my drinking problem on to my children. That's pretty big. I might do worse at work and get fired from my job. That's pretty big, right? So if I can get disciplined and give up this drinking problem, go sober, as many guys have in my program. Just this morning, we had a guy who said, he joined in April and he hasn't smoked or drank since. It's one of many. If that's you, what can improve in your life? Everything. Just because you decided to get disciplined and go sober. So that's the next thing. Who benefits if you succeed? Go through that for yourself. Say, who will benefit if I succeed in cutting this anchor loose from my life? We also talk about, I'd say cutting the anchor loose from your life. I also talk about holding a beach ball down. So imagine you have a beach ball and you're in the ocean and you're just pushing it underwater. And that beach ball is taking up all your energy, all your strength, all your focus. But because you're focused on pushing it down, you can't think about anything else. Your eyes aren't up to see opportunities. Your eyes aren't up to be present with your family. Your eyes aren't up to see your son, your daughter, and your wife looking at you, because all you're focused on is this one thing that you're ashamed of, that you think is holding you down, you think is negatively defining you. That's the beach ball. And then in our program, in our brotherhood calls, such as that happened this morning, guys will spill their guts and they'll say, this is what I'm suffering with, and just bare their souls to everyone. And you'll have a bunch of other guys say, I am too. It's okay. You're still an awesome person. Let's get through this together. And all of a sudden they release that beach ball. They feel 100 pounds lighter, and every other part of their life starts to improve because they can now focus on it. So wow, who benefits if you succeed? Who benefits if you finally tackle this one thing? Everybody. And I think I'm going to stop there. There's another point that I'm going to get to, but that's a good place to stop. And I'm at about 30 minutes now. Good length for a solo podcast. I'll save the next point for another one. If you want to apply for our men's program, the Men of Fire program, you can do that. Go to my Instagram profile, or I think on any of my social medias, the link that's in the profile, you can click and join there. Or just send me a DM. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Reach out to me anytime. Instagram's the best place in the DMs, and I'll talk to you all soon.